I came to Weatherly as the Minister of Education and Youth, knowing that folks grow in Christ in Scripture and study, and then they also grow in community and relating to one another, and then they grow as they give outside of themselves. And so I had thought that perhaps, since this church apparently had not had a mission trip before, that this might be a possibility. As I explored with the adults, my thoughts on a mission trip for construction. But I learned that folks here were not interested in going to construct a church somewhere, wanted to construct a home for a family. And there were very few Baptist-related enterprises like that, but I found one at Cumberland College up in Kentucky. So I went up there and spent some time with the director there, who gave me the history of the very brief history, and took me to one of the homes they had built and introduced me to some families. And I observed the logistics of housing and the transportation, that kind of thing, the things that were available to us there. So then I came back, and Stephen remembers a piece of paper on the bulletin board asking if anyone had an interest in doing construction mission trip to Kentucky. And so from there on, all these folks gathered together, and we were blessed to have Glenn Crocker, who did have some experience in construction. He was the shop teacher at the school, and then others were wonderful, handy folks in their homes and knew how to do many things. So we gathered this group together, and we headed up to Kentucky. So.
That's right. There were none of us except maybe Glenn or
Harshanko, maybe.
Well, I was thinking of Bill Spalding.
Yes.
Bill Spalding, he kind of led the thing, and we went up to Kentucky not knowing what we were going to do. And to some degree, I don't think they up there knew what we were going to do, because we got up there and started working, and all of a sudden they shut us down because somebody had complained about what we were building a house, and so they had to go do some permitting that wasn't there, wasn't ready. For some reason, they didn't think we were going to build. I don't know why it was, but so we shut down for a day and went to see Man of La Mancha, was a play at the school. Remember that?
I remember that now. I had forgotten that.
Yeah. So that started it off on a good foot, and we were impressed, I think, with what the people we were building lived in.
Correct. Yeah.
I remember a window in what they called a house. There was a jug of water sitting there that they drank out of, and you couldn't see through the jug. It was so dirty. So we got started, and although a couple of times we didn't go, a couple of years for the next 34 years, we went up there and just had a big time.
Yeah. There was always a wonderful spirit, and people shared and solved problems. And
that was a family that this house made a big impression on them in their lives. Their children were the first ones in their family to finish high school. They got active in the school, the PTA. The husband of the family worked with us on the house, and the school actually hired him on their maintenance and landscaping crew later because they saw how well he worked. And so that's, just a simple thing of giving them a new home provides so much more to that family. We went all the way from that first house that was very small to the last houses we built were, like I say, 28 by 38, 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, and a full porch on the front and part of the side.
I remember one house we built, about the second or third one, the provision for the siding on the house was solid oak, and we did not have any power tools. And we hammered and hammered and hammered and hammered, and finally got about 3/4 of that house covered on the outside with that side, that oak siding. I'm sure it'll be there forever.
Well, we started off on the first house, we didn't even have a ladder. We built our ladder when we got up there. And I have a picture somewhere, I think we hope I've given it to you, on the porch. I don't know where it was the last house or not, but in the last several, of all the pass load pneumatic nailers we had in the crew that people bought themselves. There were probably 7 or 8 of them lying there on the porch.
Yeah, we made a lot of relationships up there amongst our church members that we normally probably wouldn't be associated with here at the building itself. They'd be in different Sunday school classes or different areas, but up there we all became one group.
And then the interesting thing to me is how after all that, then you still had that trailer with all the equipment in it, and you used it here in Huntsville to work on houses.
Right,
And that was a wonderful extension of
that
that ministry.
That was Jim Walker's trailer.
Yeah.
Jim Walker, when he outfitted that trailer, he said, you know, this was a trailer to serve God. And he used it up in Kentucky, and we also used it here when we worked in Lincoln Village.
Right.
But,
And the wall raising was like, you know, was
the
a huge emotional thing.
The first wall raising on a house was always a big day.
Yeah.
There's very few people who only came one time to Kentucky. If they came one time, they normally came back for another trip.
Yeah.
We had a tradition of the last day. We took a magic marker and people all signed inside the studs and a blessing to the house. And over the entrance door, we always wrote the name of the people who had passed on since the last time we built. And those names will be there forever.
Yeah.
One parent of teenager told me that trip changed his life. You know, so you all did that.
It was a major event to all of us. So I just say in closing that we really miss being together for the Kentucky mission trip.
I'm Todd Wilson. I'm Weatherly's third pastor, following Harold Shirley and David Burhans. Went there in '75, stayed for 23 and a half years. That's where my kids grew up, Julie and Ryan, and I was able to coach some of them in their sporting activities and participate in a number of their activities. The church was a good place for them to grow up. It was a very special time for us. Since then, I came to Clemson, South Carolina, spent 8 years there, retired in 2006, and now I'm fortunate enough to go to Ryan's Church, a Trinity Baptist Church in Seneca. Time at Weatherly was very special. The Love Feast was always a very special time for us. The relationships that we had there and continue to have with friends that remain friends today. It was a very special time. While I was there, I was very fortunate to work with some very, very good staff members. Fred Hood was a minister of music there. Mike Williams was. Gail Coulter was a youth minister. Bruce Wilson was a youth minister. Jay Bynum was a youth minister. All of them did very fine work. We were very grateful for them. Jane Smith was the secretary, and always very reliable, very helpful, very special person. One of the things I really liked about the church was the number of mission activities in which it was involved, and I guess the special one was the Kentucky mission trip, where a large number of our group went every year and helped build construction house and that sort of stuff. And really, really good experience and drew our people very close together. It was a very special time. Again, thanks to all the Weatherly members for all that they mean to us.
Weatherly Heights Ministry to Internationals had its beginning 35 years ago when we started Wednesday morning coffees for people from other countries to meet, share culture, and learn about life in our community. These coffees evolved into English as a second language classes in 1997. We have English grammar and conversation as well as U.S. citizenship classes, both in person and online. Volunteers come from the church and the community. They provide the teaching, transportation, nursery, refreshments, and perform other administrative duties. During the Wednesday morning coffee break, we have a variety of speakers from the community and the church for entertainment and information. Many times the students will share their talents and culture, and we sometimes play games. We always enjoy the homemade cakes and cookies that the members of Weatherly provide. There are classes for students who speak little or no English, as well as some who come more for the friendship and to improve their communication skills. Sometimes they are looking to meet others from their country and linger in the parking lot, talking long after the class is over. I have also heard others say, "My teacher is my only American friend." The beauty of our program is the acceptance and friendships that are experienced with people from all over the world. I don't know who has more fun, the volunteers or the students. We are all blessed to know and love each other. Thanks be to God for this opportunity to teach English, share American culture, and follow the teachings of Jesus to welcome the stranger and love our neighbors as ourselves.
Women on Mission is a group who want to help make a difference in the world where we live by getting involved in mission outreach in our community. Each month, we try to learn about a different group in our community and do projects to help. This group started out as Baptist Young Women, and eventually we changed our name to Women on Mission since we weren't all that young anymore. Over the years, we have made snack packs for the homeless to be handed out at First Stop and collected supplies for the Hills clinics located at some of the elementary schools. We recently donated to Rose of Sharon Soup Kitchen so they could purchase a new dryer. We have donated kitchen pantry items for Blunt Hospitality House, which houses family members from out of town who have a loved one in the hospital. We have made breast cancer pillows for CCI and made hygiene kits for Free to Teach. We made toiletry kits and gave donations to Shower Up, which has a couple of mobile shower units where homeless can take showers. We collected bedding and made donations to Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which makes sure children have a bed to sleep in. We have also made birthday cake boxes and Thanksgiving treat bags for Manna House, which provides food for those in need. At Christmas, we have purchased gifts for foster children and seniors in need in our community. When Weatherly was a part of the Kentucky mission trip, we always gave money to purchase something for the home being built. We sponsor an Easter egg hunt for the children each year. We have made treat bags for our homebound members and visited them. We have made treats for the teachers and staff at Weatherly and Farley Elementary Schools at the beginning of the school year. An annual rummage sale is held to fund our budget each year. This is used to support our mission projects. Members also have given generously to support our group. Being a part of Women on Mission offers fellowship time with other women while helping do wonderful things in our community.
Congratulations, Weatherly, on 60 years of ministry and service to the city of Huntsville. I will always consider it one of the honors of my life to have been able to serve as your pastor for 24 of those 60 years. And of course, a lot changes in 24 years, not only for an individual, but for a congregation as well. We evolved, we grew together, and I enjoyed that. To some degree, you helped rear my children. I'll always be grateful for that. There are a lot of things about you that I'm grateful for. You are theologically curious, willing to explore the edges until you find your truth. You always seem to value scholarship, biblical and theological scholarship, and I appreciate that. I've loved the way you have welcomed the international community into Huntsville and helped them not only learn English, but learn how to live here and be happy. I love the way you have built affordable housing, not only in Kentucky, but here in the city of Huntsville as well. And of course, I always loved our worship services. We have such an amazing choir. And 24 years of anthems, it just sends my soul soaring. So congratulations on the good work that you've done. And now that I'm retired, I can enjoy my recliner a little more often and sit out here and watch the sun come up and sit on the backside of my house. But I will always be grateful for the 24 years I was able to serve as your pastor. And of course, you know, in some traditions, a retired pastor is not able to return to the church from which he or she retired. They just don't allow that. And of course, as Baptists, we don't have that policy, and I'm very glad. Kelly and I are glad to be back at Weatherly. You are our people. We're glad to have Valerie as our pastor, and we look forward to many years of service together. So Weatherly, you've done well. I love you. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Diane Roby. I'm going to get Deanne here to give you a little bit about the history of the prayer shawl ministry here at church.
Okay, we started this in January of 2004, and Jana Williams was the one who initiated this, and the first group of women that were not all members of Weatherly at all. There was a lot of people from the community.
Okay, so that's how it started, and you all met at night, correct?
Right.
In the evening.
In the evening.
So, and I believe was one of the ladies, I remember hearing this story, had owned a yarn shop,
Yes.
which was convenient, and donated a lot of the yarn and stuff we had.
Yes, and she's one of the ones that ended up joining our church. And then, unfortunately, she died. And I was standing in the line to greet somebody at church, and Jana came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder, handed me a bag of yarn from Elisa, and said, "Knit faster, Deanne, because Elisa's dead now."
Well, sometime around 15 years ago, I probably joined Prayer Shawl. I don't remember exactly the day that I did, but somehow I found myself in charge of it, which is no big deal because I enjoy getting together with these ladies. We have a good time. we fellowship, we talk about things, and we knit and we crochet. And in those 15 years that I know of, we have given approximately 1,200 prayer shawls. Now, I cannot tell you how many slippers we have made, or Deanne mostly has made. She can maybe have a guess, I don't know, over those years. And then we have done the prayer shawls, and these are some of the baby blankets that Ann Noren has done, and these beautiful little hats and scarves. And the prayer shawls, we put the letter out in the hallway for the different members of the church to sign, so that the person knows that they're being prayed for by many people. The other thing is, like, today is graduation Sunday, and the students all get a prayer shawl to go off to college or wherever they're going after school. And slippers. And so anyway, and we've donated a lot to other organizations. We've given some to the foster care system here in town, the Decatur, over in Decatur, the children's home over there. We send toboggans and scarves and wristlets and slippers over
at
there
Christmas time.
at Christmas time. So we're very busy. We've got a lot of things.
We do.
And also we make lap blankets, because for men a lot of times that is the best thing to do, and for them that they can use. So, but it has been a blessing. I think probably as much for us as it has been for who we've given it to.
And we've given slippers and toboggans to a women's shelter that is here in town as well.
So if there's a need, we'll be glad to try to take care of it.
There's a neat formula for teaching a little boy to knit. First of all, you tell them, and this works, I've taught all my grandsons, first you stab it, then you strangle it, scoop the guts out, and slip it off the cliff, and they'll remember that.
But we thank Virginia for her insight into starting this, and I message her every now and then, and I tell her how many we're still doing it and how many shawls we've made and so forth. So if any of y'all like to knit or crochet, please come and join us. And if you can't join us at meetings, hey, you can knit at home, because this is where we get most of the stuff done, is at home.
A little over 10 years ago, our deacons were brainstorming ideas for a new church-wide missions. There were many suggestions, but there was always a limit on the age group that could participate. Then one deacon said they had seen where a group provided food to a poverty-level students over Christmas school break. The discussion came around to, could we do this for spring school break?
At that time, I was working for Lincoln Village Ministries at Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School. I was asked, could that school use this help? Knowing that over 90% of the students were in the below poverty level, tearfully I said, yes. When I approached the principal of the school with the idea, she started crying and told me, yes. It would mean that she could go on spring break and not worry about her kids going hungry.
So we decided that we would provide for breakfast and lunch that the students would normally get at school, and an additional snack for the 9 days they would be out of school. We did have the restriction that all the food for each child would have to fit in their backpack. We found that we could do this by putting all the food in a paper grocery bag. Student in the school, approximately 450.
The project let everyone in the church have the opportunity to participate, from young children to our adults in packing. For those that could not pack, they could provide funding to purchase the food. As it has worked out, we have had preschoolers to older adults involved in packing and delivering the food bags.
The first spring break was so successful that we expanded to fall break also. We have just completed our 10th spring break. This is not a budgeted project and depends on contributions specifically for this project. Our church is very generous and we've always had enough funds to cover our expenses.
We normally start packing about 3 weeks before the break. It takes 3 or 4 packing parties to pack all the bags. We have everything from beanie weenies, mac and cheese, and oatmeal to fruit, popcorn, cookies, and more. We then load the church trailer and deliver all the bags to school a day or 2 before the break. I'm grateful to be a member of Weatherly Heights Baptist Church. It's a loving, serving church with an emphasis on missions. That's one of the reasons we chose Weatherly.
I'm Valerie Burton. I'm the 5th pastor here at Weatherly Heights Baptist Church, and I'm so thankful that God has called us both here for such a time as this, allowing our paths to converge. And I'm extremely grateful to do this work alongside Madison Watts and Harris Gessner. Their talent and creativity, their thoughtfulness about ministry, I'm so grateful for them. And it means so much to get to work here with them. In Weatherly's history, I'm grateful to stand on the shoulders of Harold Shirley and David Burhans and Todd Wilson and David Freeman. But I'm also grateful to stand on the shoulders of Gail Coulter and Pat Hallam, because they were 2 women that you called out from among you. Gail, as the first minister that this church ordained, female minister, and Pat Hallam, the first female deacon to say yes when you asked. If it hadn't been for them, I would not be here today. I wouldn't be standing here today either if you hadn't been brave enough to call me. And I'm grateful for that. Forever grateful. So now we both live here in this brave space, known by our words, boldly inclusive and faithfully thinking and progressively Baptist. Those words drew me to you. This church that's known as a church that serves, that practices hands-on care and love for the least of these, drew me to you. I love being out in the community and saying, I'm at Weatherly, and people automatically know you for your generosity of spirit and your openness and your overwhelming hospitality. So here we are, standing together on a threshold Here celebrating 60 years, a threshold with a storied past and an unwritten future. This threshold is sacred and holy ground. It's a place of growth and change and movement, and we have had a lot of that in the past year. But that's one way that we know that Spirit is with us, because Spirit is always hovering, as Spirit does before something new is created. So it's at this threshold that we've been looking back and seeing all that God has done through us, and sometimes in spite of us. And I want us to trust that the same will be true as we step over the threshold into new holy ground. There will be more knitting to come, more building, more serving, more packing, more singing, more feasting, more thinking, more belonging, more kindness, more love, more believing that we have something to say and do here in Southeast Huntsville that no one else can say for us. I'm here for it. I hope you are too. Thanks be to God.